President, we'll go ahead and give the invocation. Father, thank you again for this day you've given us to come here and do the work of the county. We'd ask that you would give us guidance and wisdom and understanding as we deal with different issues here in front of us. Thank you for that in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Johnson.
Here.
Drummond.
Here.
Brady. Gone. Small.
Here.
Yax.
Here. Approve the
Can I
minutes.
ask that for you be indicated as excused, please?
Sure.
Thank you. I'm sure.
Approve the minutes for the July 5th regular meeting. You have them attached. Take a look. So moved. A second time. Supported. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, 3 minutes per person. Identify yourself and where you're from and other your name. Hi.
Yeah, Patrick Smiley, I'm Cole County Judges. Last meeting I wasn't here. There was a vote or something to delay. Or for the inspections to go further, I thought. Once S&M does their inspection,
Anthony.
SME, is that it? Okay. And they deem the property buildable. We'd be ready to go. So I'm just kind of wondering, what's the procedures now?
Am I allowed to? I'm gonna speak to that. So.
He's going to anyway.
So what we have is SME is gonna produce a BEA, which is a baseline environmental assessment.
Right,
That has not been produced. What they gave to us was their preliminary findings, which they said. They saw no real issue to,
right.
but the board voted to wait for the final printed out 700-page version. That says there's no issue, so we've got, it should be due, I would think this week.
Oh, okay. Well,
Voted to.
is the BEA
Yeah, we
separate?
did plan on purchasing, the purchasers voted to purchase the property, but you know, before we do any kind of title deed work or anything like that. We wanted that BEA in place, which is the
Oh,
official
okay.
document that says you're good to go.
So the BEA isn't separate from the SME, they're all combined? is that-
SME is the company that writes the BEA.
So,
the
okay, the
BEA
BEA is gonna get their report, if they've already.
No, the BEA is actually a piece of paper. So that's called.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
It's
baseline.
it's in writing,
Right.
that's what you're saying.
And what it
Okay.
says, we'll get the baseline environmental assessment. And that says, this is what's on the property, anything going forward, if something's found from previous, you're not responsible.
Okay,
So it's a baseline, it's from that day forward. We don't have any issues with what was there. If we polluted ourselves later, that's a different situation, but
Well,
that gives us protection to not be liable for any kind of contaminations.
and they did say there should be no problems
They said they found a couple minor issues.
at the
but
southeast corner or
Yeah.
something that has
And
nothing
the
to do with
PFAS.
where we're building.
Nothing where we're building.
Okay, good, I just wanna know, because, we don't wanna lose our grant,
No, I know, we want to keep going.
and, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the development. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Margaret Katsara, Queens Township. I'm just inquiring about our internet coverage, broadband coverage. How's that going? Because we don't have very good coverage at our place. And it's quite concerning. So any information that you can give later on in the meeting, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Jeff Linderman, resident, Cedar Lake, Iashua County. I did not see on the agenda, anything pertaining to my questions from 3 months ago, so I am just here as a placeholder. In case something gets added to the agenda to hear it. Thank you.
Well, anyone online? Going once? All right. We'll move on. Presentation, John Hartley, IT Director. Where's John?
He's coming. He was just in here.
Here he comes.
Here it comes.
He's running.
He runs when he walks.
John, email retention policy.
Currently, we don't have a email retention policy. According to staff, I think it was 2 years for the state guidelines as for general communications. So in order to enable it into the system, I'd like a policy put in place. I sent for review, and hopefully at the next meeting, we can pass this policy. I've also attached and there is a hire and separation form. Hire was important and most of the department heads and elected officials fill them out for access to what computer systems we have. The separation one is way more important as to make sure that we cut off access that is not needed. I would like this to go for the next board to get approved as people have thought before anything happens under the computer systems here.
Have boxes they add.
You may have any boxes you want in there, and you can add them with ease.
Do we have a separation form right now?
Yeah, it's, well, no, I created it a while ago and I've asked a lot of people to fill it out and it kind of gets thrown by the wayside. But it's super important as far as if someone leaves and how they leave. I need to know before someone leaves. We've had no real problems, but I can see problems come about if we don't remove access. And I don't know about it before the person is to leave.
Yeah, I think in the past it was kind of just sort of.
Normally I'll get a phone call.
Yeah.
This person's retiring, this person's leaving, so on and so forth, and it's all well and good, but I want hard copies so I know what I need to do to make sure that everything's on the up and up.
I don't necessarily think we need to vote on these.
I
That can be your.
no, I want you guys to vote on it because I wanted to force upon that you have to fill these things out.
Respectfully, him owning it.
I can ask people all day long, but I need
Only
to,
because some of this stuff is gonna change and we vote on this today, and if you wanna add something or something.
well, then we can bring it before the board if need be.
I don't care. if you
But
want to,
yeah, next board meeting, we can add whatever, Steph and I will get together and I'll email it out to everyone as for ideas, but no, I need something from you guys saying that. Department head and elected officials need to fill out this form if they want any computer system access or removed. To make that happen.
What's currently in the database, in the personnel policy?
Nothing to contact IT about removing people. As far as I can see. I'd have to go through it again. I just want the form filled out and emailed to me, or a phone call and emailed to me. Would be great.
Ideally, you'd want these go into the IT policy on personnel, that there will be.
Yeah,
So if we put it generally, and then it can be updated as necessary when you change different names and stuff like that.
Yep.
I know it would be a lot of work. And we're not trying to create more work. for you.
no, editing the form is easy.
Pardon?
Editing the form is easy.
Is there any value to sequentially, over a period of time, having this form developed for everybody? Because it does reference the job title, the department, the computers they're going to access.
Right.
It seems to me that maybe if we had that on each person, that could have some value. Actually, I would hope it never had it.
Well, I just need to know what computer they're using in the department.
I
There's
assume
more
that's
than
what
one.
you were talking about. You're not talking about every employee, you're just talking about.
No, I'm talking every employee that
We fill
Yeah.
this out.
not right now. This is going forward for.
Yeah.
This is going forward for hiring and.
Yeah.
People that leave only. And
But
the
I-
hiring one's great because you guys will hunt me down and make me give you guys access to whatever you need. But the leaving one, is the most important of the bunch.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think your answer is, yeah, it is on every employee. It'll be everybody.
That's what I was suggesting, because it didn't say it was.
Yeah.
And then you and I discussed that one form. And we'll be in that one the next time. Let's see if I can find it, some policies that I can do that.
So this one we want to look at for a little bit.
Yeah, well, okay, so I'm gonna have Lyco review it.
We're ready to go on these.
Or do you want,
No, those would be great to done, if you guys wanna do that today, or if you guys wanna wait and review, doesn't really matter. We can wait till the next meeting, it's not a big deal. I just wanted to get it done. If possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody questions?
John, and you said that you changed most of this, modified it.
Yeah,
To go along
I
with the
removed the
state.
paragraph, I removed all the state stuff out of there, and then sent over to Lyco for review. Makes, I think it flows pretty easily. It's just basically, we're gonna keep X amount of email in for retention. It's 2 years, so I will set up our portal to keep email for that long.
Yeah.
I did not add it to the agenda, but we have the sheriff talk. Very presentations.
Sure. Want to go now?
Sure.
Okay.
I sent the board a email, I think last week, about some emergency with the animal control situation. We found out they hung up a note on the door for us not to take any more dogs, and we've been there probably for 2 or 3 years now. They haven't accepted any cats. So I've been working with Commissioner Brumman a little bit on this, but as I pointed out before, that's not acceptable for us. To be handling animal complaints and not have anywhere to take them. So we got to work out some situations. The other part of it I asked for is a formal declaration that my office be in charge of animal control so that we can make those happen. I think that probably happened years ago somewhere and it's been lost along the line. So all I'm doing is asking for a reaffirmation of that today.
What's the
In the form.
formal title on that? I got it.
Yeah, so the board needs to appoint one of the county offices or departments as being in charge of animal control.
Isn't there a formal number attached to that state number?
MCL number? Yeah, there sure is. That says ordinance. I think the same thing, I talked to Commissioner Small a little bit ago. I think the same thing can be accomplished with a motion. Being voted on for you guys. The MCL is 287.289, letter A, Animal Control Agency establishment by County Board of Directors,
Animal control or animal enforcement
Animal Control Agency.
control?
And, along with that, I don't expect anything to change this year or anything like that. I'll probably look at having a little bit more direction for that next year. With some formalized training from somebody, and hopefully I can get somebody specialized in that. Some of that's limited by my staffing and manpower, but right now I think it'll just be the status quo. Along with reworking a new agreement with the Humane Society.
As I indicated in my email, that may begin to change in August.
Yeah, and I don't mind working out whatever arrangement animal control has with the Humane Society. What I prefer to stay out of is whatever agreement you guys have with the Harbor Town. Yeah,
They're not related.
yeah. If those two contracts aren't related, that's great. And I prefer to stay out of that one. It doesn't have much to do with what I'm doing, so.
What do you do now with the dogs and they can't take them?
There's the question. Sometimes we take them, drop them off there, we secure them the best way we can. We're talking about getting some cages and kennels there so that they have some temporary housings.
You want me to back away from this?
No, I want you to keep working with me on it if that'd be okay. I've got a couple of people donating some cages to put them in our garage so that they're on the weekend and we don't have to take them to the Humane Society where they'd be stuck until Monday. If we can locate owners quickly, we'll just do that from my office and not have to take them there, but I get a couple of things in the works to try to figure that out, but the bottom line is I just remember you there, every Humane Society in the state and in the country is loaded up with animals. And some of these no-kill policies are really, they're really hurting them. Some of these animals are just not adoptable. And because of that, they're living out the rest of their lives in humane societies, which sounds great, except it's a tremendous burden on those humane societies, so. And the other result of that is that we can't take strays in. So for 2 or 3 years now, when people call and they have stray cats or kittens, there's nowhere for us to take them. And it's just that it's a pretty tough answer when they call my office looking for help. And we're supposed to be handling animal control and just say there's nowhere to take them. So we'll try to work on some alternatives for that and see if we can work out. And occasionally the thing with dogs, they just don't have room for dogs from time to time. So I'll work on that too.
Is it just time to time, or is it now through August?
Cats are all the time, but dogs are from time to time where they're not taking them. Is that your question?
Mhm.
Yes.
We got the jail.
Similar to
cage out back.
Similar to inmates, animals need supervision and care, and I just don't have the people to watch. But you know, we joke a little bit, but the reality is a lot of these counties are running their own dog pounds. Alpena County is running a dog pound at the fairgrounds, and they have to staff it. Man, I don't think they staff it 24/7 or anything, but they do have people that show up there and feed and water the animals several times a day. And I think they're paid employees, maybe they're volunteers. I'm not quite sure.
$200,000 buses.
I don't know.
By the time you build it and man it and pay the insurance.
You said you want to give the sheriff 200,000 to my left ear is not in my good ear, so. Yeah, so that's kind of on the part. For 1.9 of my office is the same animal control, and then we'll go forward with a couple things. They have a board meeting tonight. I'm not able to attend, because I've got an appointment with a couple acres of pay tonight, but I'll call the president of that and let her know that we'll move in a different
I have
direction.
a meeting scheduled Monday. Tuesday.
Okay. Okay.
Make motion. to put sheriff's department around.
Nothing right out of business, huh? No business. I'll entertain the motion if somebody wants to second it.
I'll second it.
That's the motion.
The motion is to make the sheriff the animal control officer.
Sheriff's office animal.
Sheriff's
control
office.
agency. The sheriff himself doesn't want to do it.
Sheriff wants to be the animal control officer.
And then
Wait,
go on.
Getting kennels for his house.
Terry got it right first.
Any discussion? All right, vote on it. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, congratulations.
Oh, very good.
All right, moving on. We don't have any other presentations, unfinished business. Did you wanna, we gotta add anything else? Employee separation forms. We're gonna add that to here. 'Cause I think we can get these done, given that we have some
I'd
separations
like to
happening this week.
Utilize. That the IT department utilizes three forms. One would be for new hire form. For computer. Information, computer usage, that's probably a better term. The second form would be for existing employees. The third form would be for separation of employees.
So you want, there's the middle form, the additional one is, you want an inventory of what everybody's doing right now. Whether they're separated or not. No, it was either for starting or
We
finishing.
talked about all three, I thought,
Well, I don't know, did we?
because he needs to have that information. Now, I don't expect him to do it today. But as time goes through, he needs to know who's on what computer, what capabilities they have on what computer.
It's fine with me, it's just.
Are you
a piece of
getting it
paper.
to the personnel policy?
Yeah.
Or are you just having it as a motion to have this done? Or is it going directly into the personnel policy for new hires? And existing in separation, because there's sections in the personnel policy that have,
IT asked for 3 forms. They presented us 2, new hire and a separation. But they also, I believe, mentioned that the rest, they need to know what the rest of them are doing. What computers and programs. And that was my understanding. And I think these can be held by the IT department.
And that's fine, but is it going into the personnel policy? Is what was my question. Is this part of our policy? Do every
Anybody
new
second that
hire?
yet or not? Do we have a second?
Carried it.
Okay, okay, sure.
Hey.
Okay, so discussion, excuse me. Are you also including in your motion that this will become policy?
Pardon?
Are you, I'm sorry,
No, just the 3 forms.
But are this IT policy or just coming to our personnel policy,
I believe it's going into IT.
not personnel policy? It'll be just,
I think personnel policy should have a statement, a page of whatever that says employees will fill out.
upon hire, they will fill this form, or if this will be filled out, and upon separation, this one will be filled out.
And while they are here, if necessary, this one, the middle one, will be updated appropriately.
is that part of your motion? No,
It was not part of my motion.
is it now?
I don't think it needs to be. We need to get these so he can use them and use them now. And
This is what you want made part of the policy,
Eventually.
eventually, not these forms.
And I'm not looking at this procedures, we need a procedure.
So this is, we're directing IT to follow the procedure. Okay. Got it. And approving these forms for their use. Okay. Any other discussion? Think it's clear?
Where's my?
Here's mine. All right, if there's no other discussion, there's the mud guy right there.
Yeah, well, what were you guys talking about? Sorry, I was listening. Sorry.
You want me to elaborate, or do you want to use motion?
I don't know if you elaborate what I meant.
Well, go ahead. Do you want these part of personnel policy, or do you want us to approve these as your procedures in your office?
I want you to approve this personnel policy to say it's part of, you want computer access, these are gonna get filled out.
So what we can put a sentence in personnel policy that says,
Hire.
hire and upon separation, employees will.
Perfect.
Okay,
That's all,
that's what's gonna go in personnel.
that's perfect,
And then you
absolutely.
are
perfect.
gonna change these as necessary.
As needed, we'll change those, absolutely.
Okay, whoa, wait,
Oh,
before you
sorry.
leave, what, did you want a third one that was,
Yes,
current
that's
employees?
gonna take a little bit.
but you're
No,
not there?
current employees were good on. I know what everyone else has access to, but when they leave, I see the separation form from them.
So you just want 2 of these forms, no current employee one.
No current employee one. I have,
But aren't you eventually wanting that?
I already have access to what everyone has. I already
Okay.
have a
I
list of
thought
it
you
everyone
wanted
has access
one of the
to.
guys who were just,
No,
and gals.
just
Okay.
people that leave and new people that come and we're good to go.
All right, did that change your motion and
Motion has not changed now.
change anything? So 2 forms,
Do you want to amend it or do you want me to change
just
it?
2
Correct
forms,
it.
2 forms, part of the personnel. policy.
Beginning in and end.
2 forms
Just 2
that
forms.
will be referenced from the personnel policy, and the sentence in the personnel policy
A
will
new
be,
hire.
new hire will
a
complete a new hire
employee
form.
separation.
So there'll just be a sentence, and then IT will have these.
Yes, you have to amend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll still have to amend personnel policy to include that sentence. So we write that down exactly, so we can make sure you put that in there.
I will make it sound,
Make it sound good.
Yeah.
Valerie.
make it understandable.
Yep.
Yes.
So would you like a roll call since you're updating personnel policy on this? Okay. Roll call, please.
Yes,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
Small,
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes. All right, get that done. Okay. So new business, we're going to finish new business is claims.
I will make a motion to approve pre-authorized claims and open claims presented for payment between 7/05/2023 and 7/18/2023 for check numbers 151-253 to 151-369 and e-checks numbers 2156 to 2167 for a grand total of $454,256.74.
Seconded, any discussion? Roll call please.
Johnston,
Yes.
Brumman.
Yes.
Small.
Yes.
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 All right, second item, Secure Rural Schools Act History and Election Form Training. I assume you're gonna say something about that stuff or no?
No,
We got an email from Carol that we.
correct. It was presented at 3 meetings ago, updating that information, and no one contacted me, but the deadline is forward. In
July.
this month, and so I just was reminding you that you need to look into that and get that finished. And make a decision. I had told you at the last meeting that I presented this, that I have all the prior year election information and no one contacted me, so I'm assuming you figured this out on your own and you'll be making that decision.
Pretty big assumption.
Yeah, forward.
They did. All right,
Love the one on distribution. County mail up to return its allocation is federal government. I think so. We don't have that.
Right. Anybody got any other comments on that? The chairman will have to get on that. So we can make that. Okay. I have nothing else on the new business. Anybody want to add anything else to the new business? Okay, finance report?
There's not a lot going on. I mean, finance as of right now.
Is that it? Yep. Okay, well, personnel. We got lots to.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yes.
Come on.
All right, well, as most of you know. We have 2 openings in the equalization department, and I've spent quite a bit of time here. We've looked at and had some meetings on, personnel has. Have sent out emails to many of you. Our position, and as I sent you all out an email this morning. We, as personnel, we're looking for direction from the board as to which way we would like to go. Do we want to contract these services? Do we want to hire positions or refill these positions? Those are 2 distinctly different questions. And or a combination of the 2. We could still maintain a couple of positions with our employees and perhaps contract one position. Without that knowledge, we don't really know which direction to go. Given that the chairman isn't here today, we talked this morning. We had an exit interview with both positions, and afterwards we talked a little bit and felt maybe it would be wise to have a special meeting in a week. And allow him to have input also on this.
I would like to,
But we can certainly discuss it.
a meeting then, because I believe we have, Lady Sheila Kiander, what is the last name is? Kiander, scheduled to visit us at our next regular meeting. And I believe that she has information and
Oh, is that what Adam sent? I didn't
Yes.
have a chance to open that.
She's the
that
CASA.
she will provide to us that will help us make a better informed decision. But in the meantime, and also at that time, I think we need to, as part of what we're doing, the board needs to meet with both the treasurer and the register of deeds and see how that is going to meld and mesh together. They are integral parts. The 3 of them are integral parts of what happens in this county regarding property. And I think that needs to happen. My other question is, back in, I believe, February, there was a list of things that equalization was essentially the public was going to provide. And, I'm just wondering if it was all accomplished. In the exit interviews, was it indicated that all of those things?
I never saw that list that come from last year. I never knew there was a list. They didn't talk about it. Why? So in their exit interview, certainly the director, we are, and I have a call into the state right now to make sure that all forms have been filed. There are stuff that is due in August, but it can't be completed until the work that is in July and August is completed, then you report on what you did. So there's that due at the end of August. I don't think there was anything else that comes anytime sooner than that. So that list was probably generated from the personnel,
I don't.
from
My
like
understanding
in-house.
was it in-house,
Okay, wasn't it?
that it involved the treasurer, and I'm not sure who else was there, well, presumably, equalization. But,
I don't know what it is.
well, we can let it go for nothing. I think you were in on public development.
Me?
You pushed that.
February?
Pardon?
This February?
Yes, February 20th.
I don't know very well. Okay, so anyway, so those are the decisions we have here, or I think we have, so we wait 2 weeks, that's fair, I guess. But we will be without an equalization director, we'll be down to one person in the office, which means the office will most likely be closed on occasion because they're not gonna be able to, the one person's not gonna be able to be there and not be there. That's concerning.
There was as a possibility, now that it does not cover having the office manned of 35. But we could, I believe, for coverage, have, was a possibility of having a current equalization head for a 3-month period. Now, that would take some clearance of a few entities.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about now. So there is unless something has changed, that's like you're talking about just answering phones and checking the office. You have to have an MCAT minimum to be in that office answering calls and doing anything. So you're talking
Not
about,
answering the phone. You-
yeah, I think you'd have to have it for anything to be in the, I'm pretty sure, I remember that discussion coming up. And after you talked to me about this person, I talked to that person, and he is in no way interested in answering phone calls or anything like that. Okay.
But if, that was not my point.
Yeah.
At all. Never.
Well, that is another discussion. So depending upon how we go forth here, are we going to, so if we take 2 weeks, do we want to try to have some sort of short-term coverage between now and the time we hire somebody?
Before we do that, I think it's extremely important for us to have a meeting with, as I said a few moments ago, with the register of deeds and with the treasurer. I don't think that we collectively know what we want or expect out of the equalization director. Yeah, we expect the job to be done, but what's it going to entail?
So your comment about a 3-month position, whether it's a current equalization director or any other contracted position, is not, they're not gonna be here to do anything other than make sure reports are filed, period. And it doesn't really, I mean, no disrespect to the clerk and the treasurer, but it isn't gonna matter, because he's not gonna be working, or she isn't gonna be doing anything with that. A future employee that we hire, for sure, that's gonna be a more comprehensive position, but the 3 month,
Respectfully, I did not include the clerk,
so.
because she is not an integral part in the handling of property in this county. But those three are register of deeds, treasurer, and equalization.
So the only reason we're bringing this up because we were just looking for direction on which way the board wants to go. Are we gonna contract? Are we gonna try to hire? Are we looking for an employee? Are we looking for contract and services?
before we make that decision, I believe we need to find out what it is we want and need. And I don't think we collectively know yet,
Well, I don't know.
but I believe meeting with the gal from the house station.
Yes, fantastic. County.
Yeah, Acosta. Meeting with her and the meeting with the three elements of us. Registered deeds and clerk. I think that would help us develop what we expect and need out of an equalization program.
There we did, good.
I'd like to go a little faster with it, but it sounds like we're gonna be a 2 week thing.
I don't have a issue with it.
Who's gonna meet for this powwow?
Adam has talked to someone from Acosta County. I
Okay,
don't know.
gotcha, but,
She's a guru of.
but
equalization.
I'm talking about the clerk and the registered deeds.
No, not the
I'm
treasurer,
sorry, treasurer
That's
and
okay.
registered. Excuse me.
registered deeds.
Okay,
and
and who's the
equalization.
third, who's the third one?
Well, it's us. To determine what we need from equalization.
So you do know that when we contract, what we need is going to be this. This is what state of Michigan says is done. There is no, I mean, we can ask for more, but there's a
That's not-
minimum need.
That's not a single, that is a single focus.
Right.
It does not address everything that,
So it sounds like, are you leaning more toward an employee then? You'd like to put
I'm
a,
not leaning any place. I'm leading, what I'm saying is, do we collectively know what we expect out of an equalization director? I don't think we do
well, I
collectively.
think I do.
And it's a triangle of of satisfying both the taxpayer, maybe not satisfying them, but having answers for the taxpayer, having it function well within our county, and having the process work smoothly.
That sounds really good. I hope it happens, but I don't know. So I have been on the phone with multiple different counties that do have
I don't know.
contracted services. They, in most cases, in fact, in all cases, they are not in the office. They aren't here the
What has
whole.
something to do with being in the office?
So the point is, they are going to do what the state tells them is their minimum amount due. They're not gonna be the treasurer. So what, I guess what I'm trying to say is that. I mean, I think it's not a big deal. I mean, if it's what we wanna go, but I think if we want an employee who's gonna be in the building and be able to work with the registered deeds and the treasurer. On a one-on-one basis and problem solve and do this, I think we need to understand that contracted group, from what I've seen, doesn't do that. Now, with that, so that's one of the options that I placed in here, was that it becomes a hybrid office where we have contracted services. For perhaps a director's position, and then we have our own employees that are filling the other positions. And those employees would be here 5 days a week, 35 hours or whatever it is, and would be able to interact with treasurer and with registered deeds and answer and solve problems on a daily basis. There's some of these guys, I mean, you talk to them, and they don't hear from them for a couple days.
Yeah. I'm
So,
aware of that.
so I think your desire to have cohesive organization with the treasurer and the register of deeds is gonna require an employee.
The office needs to be cohesive with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
but I,
not saying the lead person or the lowest person,
Mhm.
but collectively,
How about if we have a meeting in 1 week? We'll have the treasurer, register of deeds, and here, we'll all sit down at this table at 1 o'clock and we'll discuss that.
what we need to do is either put proposals out. The contract, so these folks, they've got lots of other irons in the fire. And there's lots of other jobs, and if we are gonna go the contracting route, we gotta get some proposals coming in. And not keep waiting for 2 more weeks and 2 more weeks.
so why are we having her if we're gonna do the proposals now?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
My
that
belief
lady
is
is,
that she is going to help us educate ourselves. And help us determine what we need. If we're not gonna, if we solve our, well, if we approach that at 1 o'clock before we listen to her. we've wasted her
You wanted
time.
a meeting, you wanted a meeting. You
Pardon?
wanted, excuse me, my voice is going. You wanted a meeting between those three. The treasurer, register of deeds and us, right, already goes it. Right?
Yes,
That's what you want.
yes.
Let's have that meeting.
Once you decide what you want out of the equalization department, when you've made up your mind, so we know how to direct information to the taxpayers from those different offices, you have to decide what you want your equalization department to look like, whether it be a contract or employees. Because how you choose what you want your equalization department to look like, that affects what happens in the Register of Deeds office, the information that they give, and also the information that the treasurer's office gives. That's the only information that I was asking of all of you, was to let us know what you have in your mind for how the, because we've had an equalization department that's been the functioning the way it has been for so long. And now you're talking, there's all kinds of information out there looking at different ways to run it. We just needed to know what your decision was on how your equalization department in Alcona County looks moving forward, so we could provide the proper information to our taxpayers.
Once we make a decision, then we can all go forward, right?
You would I would love to have that information on how it's gonna be structured, so we can inform the people that are asking the questions and we can direct them to the right place.
And my comment to that is, I don't need to know nothing about equalization to know what that is. I don't need to know how to equalize and do, and we don't need to know any of that. All we need to know is, are we gonna have somebody here in this office on a daily basis that will have to pick up the phone when she calls, or when one of our taxpayers calls? Are we gonna have 2 people in the office to do that? Are we gonna have 3 people in the office to do that? Are we gonna have no people? And we won't have that. What she's saying doesn't have anything to do with the mechanics of equalization. And I don't need an equalization director to teach me anything, because I don't want to know. I don't want to be an equalization director. But I do want to know what we as a board want to do to provide services to taxpayers. And I think probably the most public, serviceable way is to have our own employees that are here in the building, that are available for the public to come in, and so on and so forth. That has worked,
And that would be nice, except, let's face it, it's hard to get those employees, right?
and that's where we come to. That finding an equalization director right now is nearly impossible. The contracted services that people do provide are not customer service oriented. They do equalization. That's what they do, period. Could we contract with someone to provide customer service? Probably. But that's all I'm asking is just, and that's what I thought we could do at that meeting, regardless of what she says. Are we going down the contracted road, or are we gonna try and repopulate our equalization office with our own people?
I don't want to make that decision until I've had a chance to see what she has to say. You maybe do, but
Yeah,
I don't.
I know that, as we keep pushing it down, it takes longer and longer to get, if we go contracted, then it takes time to get all these proposals in. So, and not to mention, we've got to we're gonna hire our own, we've got to get a job description out, we've got to get, job openings out on Indeed and on our website, and it's another 2 weeks. We've got reports that are due in a month and a half from an equalization director of some sort, so. But I'm not gonna learn equalization. Yes, you are.
I'd like to hear what she has to say.
The ladies,
Yeah, I mean,
well, we're not really asking, we were hoping maybe we could do it on the 26th when we had Adam here, but if you guys wanna wait 2 more weeks until we move, that's fine by me.
well, I think in fairness to her, if we're gonna make a decision, we don't need to waste her time.
So what I read with her, do you think she's gonna shed some light on which way we wanna go as far as hiring employees or hiring contract services? Is it,
I can't tell you that.
I mean, I just read what she did. It didn't look, it looked like more like how the office runs. So, and there's definitely a distinction, even she put it in her writing. But there's a distinction between if you're gonna have a contracted service offices, it's gonna look a lot different than in a.
What are the pros on having contract?
I don't think she put them, it just, you could tell that there were two different. There's definitely two different,
I would accept that.
so. I just didn't wanna wait, I wanna go to the rec and then somewhere, or at least start getting. Getting stuff out there and see if we can generate some interest, but we wait 2 more weeks. Okay.
Unless we can get her to come next Wednesday instead.
I don't know, her thing said. Oh, what did it say? That, I have August 3rd blocked off on my calendar. Yeah, and yeah, she's asking for mileage to come off, which is fine. Pick my administrator regarding. Financial questions. So. I don't know who she is. I mean, never heard of her. So, maybe. There's lots of consultants. Basically, what she's doing is a consulting business.
Well, Adam seemed to think it would be beneficial for us, but, and
Yeah. In addition to that, so. We did have an exit interview with both employees. I would like to, they're both in here right now. So I would like to certainly extend appreciation. Troy's been with the county for 26 years. 27 years. And equalization for how many years?
25,
25
and
years.
director for 16, and I've been working with Shiloh, so I do not know why I have never been contacted. You could ask me, I know her real well.
Oh, Macasta County lady?
Yes.
Oh.
Her and I have been in it together for as many years, and I haven't been contacted only except with you and Terry.
Yeah,
So if you had a question, I'm only right down the hall,
yeah.
and I've never, like you said.
Well, this just came, Adam just got a hold, I mean, he just sent this. like,
Well, I mean,
20
if
minutes
somebody
ago.
has a question about equalization directors, I've worked with this lady for 25 years.
Yeah.
If you have questions, and please don't call, if you have questions about equalization, I've been there for 25 years, come and ask me.
Mhm.
You don't have to call my other employees to ask what needs to be done. You did, and Terry. But if you have questions, don't call my other coworkers that I work with in the field and ask them questions that you can walk down the hall and ask. I'd be more than glad to answer all your questions. And what she's gonna probably say the same thing. You're gonna pay her to come up here. And here I am, ask. I don't understand why you're paying somebody to come up and do that. It's a slap in my face. 17 years. Here I am. And you're paying somebody.
Well, but I intend it to go that direction. I do want
Sorry.
to thank you for
Thank you.
your service.
Thank you for listening to me.
And Aaron, you have 16 years, but not with us. Is it 16 years with us?
Yeah.
Yep.
6 with IASCO.
And as far as I remember, there's never been an issue in the office, state issue or any kind of failure of audits or anything like that. Always, yeah, as the office is run well. It's met the requirements and certainly has.
We have our issues, just like every other office.
Thank you.
Well, that's the issue with employees sometimes, and
Yeah.
so we're in a public meeting, we won't go in, you don't want to air the dirty laundry to everybody, but.
Yep.
Anybody who's ever worked anywhere knows that there's always issues in any kind of a business or.
This is a public meeting. My name is Tim Weir. I live in Alcona County and I'm just here for the public comments. Guys probably don't recognize me. I'm probably the only one you guys don't recognize, so. I just wanted to introduce myself and say why I'm here.
Okay, well, not yet.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I just had people look at me like, who's this guy? So I just
Oh,
wanted to
don't worry.
introduce myself. So anyway.
Yeah, we'll get to a public
Okay.
comment here.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know where I was at. Anyway, so. Appreciate your time, appreciate what you've done, wish you the best on your next adventure. Troy, you're about retired. I know you're older than I am, so you
Yeah.
should be retired, not this
It's a new chapter.
new chapter.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So 2 weeks, we're gonna
2 weeks. It's 2 weeks, we'll have a regular meeting and this lady will come. Give us a little background on,
We might want to think about, meeting with her at 12:30, having a regular meeting at 1:30, but have her meeting at, start at 12:30. And, if that's agreeable to, I mean, if she's coming from across the future. If she's here an hour early, that's not gonna, I wouldn't think that would matter. to her schedule.
so and I'm getting a sense that this is gonna be the concurrence of everybody here, so I'm just gonna go through her email and if the board is directing us to come up with these answers for her, should she ask for some things? She has financial questions. What is the annual salary? What are the benefits and retirement for your employee? Vacation, sick days? If it is a contractor, how much are you gonna pay them? Or how much do you want to pay them? How many staff are in the office? So would you like, does this board want personnel to come up with those answers, or do we want to wait?
Can't think of anybody better.
Is that it? So it still comes back to what do we want to pay for a contracted position? And here, one of her bullet points is pretty clear, kind of speaks to what I was saying. What non-statutory duties are you asking of the equalization department? Aaron and Troy both have done multiple non-statutory duties that were not necessarily in the state's equalization. From what I've seen, we will not enjoy that with a contracted services provider. Not gonna happen, not for any kind of money that we can afford.
What are we paying her to come?
How much?
We're not paying her mileage.
Yeah, $250.
That's mine.
$50, yeah.
Says it wrong.
I suppose it would be.
Go ahead, we're discussing.
Well, I mean, should this be voted on and approved that we have this person come in, or are we gonna,
There's a money issue.
yeah, I mean, we gotta pay somebody to show up here.
Not to have himself, but
Anybody gonna say
I'm
anything?
not gonna make a motion. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not making a motion.
Well. I certainly could use a lot more education. And I will move that we invite Sheila Kiander, if I'm saying pronouncing her name correctly, Kiander. From Acosta County to share with us her knowledge regarding equalization and her. Well, I'm trying to show her knowledge, we have knowledge sitting behind us right now, but, I think that she has. She tells pros and cons on contracted and the pros and cons on not contracted, on employed. I'm not, certainly not gonna, well, I'll start.
Is there support?
I'll support that. I mean, I think we need to look at everything at this big picture. I mean, obviously going forward, this is probably gonna be one of the biggest things that we've done. Whether we go contractor or try to get the employer, out if it's even available.
Mhm.
And this is just another avenue that we're looking at.
Can I comment there?
Roll call. please.
Well, I'll comment. So I appreciate Right, because I have chatted with him quite a bit about equalization over the years, many times, and I do value his opinion. I don't know this person. I don't necessarily believe she's any better than anybody else that would know. I think she's an equalization director in a county. I don't know if she's a consultant, whatever. However, given all that, I think we do have a good guy who we can ask questions to, and if you take the time to do it, you'll find out that there's good answers. But in respect to Adam, who isn't here, he felt this was important. I think it was probably, I will do it. I normally wouldn't, because I don't think it's necessary, but for whatever reason, he is thoughtful and will respect his wish. So on that note, anybody else have a comment? All those in favor of, roll call, yeah, sorry, roll call.
Small.
Wait, what's the motion? Say it again,
To have her come,
have her come in 2 weeks or whenever she's available.
yes,
Second,
April 2nd.
yeah, August 2nd.
I'm sorry, okay.
No. At the cost too, put the cost in there.
Johnston,
Yes.
Drummond,
Yes,
Yax.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Okay, and in the meantime, she had some questions and this group would like us to. Well, there's really not anything,
they're all pretty basic.
yeah, it's pretty basic.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. I think each one of you can probably do this on your own and figure it out. Okay. Anything else on personnel? You had? Well, we do, Missy did hire a part-time position and the rest are these. You know, I don't know. I don't even know if she told me
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Oh.
Been up, talked to them last week. So, other than that. Let's move right along to the treasurer's report.
Our upcoming sale is next month. We have been collecting taxes and been pretty quiet. We put out our June 1st notices and at the end of the slowdown. The township treasurers have sent out their bills. Obviously, it was July 1st, we have had small amount of issues. Few townships have, they're on a learning curve as far as their assessors and the information that's provided. They're working through that and we're getting updates on a weekly basis from some of the township treasurers with all their information, and the July board of reviews are coming through. And we'll be making those adjustments as we go. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Clerk's report.
I have a couple of things for personnel. I have a few donation sick time leave forms for your approval. For Courtney, who's off on maternity leave. She's run out of time. Also, the Mike Grave, when he was made full-time, I emailed this to finance a couple of weeks ago for a budget amendment. And you guys didn't make a motion, so I think that needs to be put on for next week or next meeting. Also, the EMS positions, when you got their increases, there was no budget amendment made for that either. So I can add those to the next agenda. Finance, I also have a consumer's bill that needs to be signed. There is another MERS conference this year in September. Trina attended it last year. It was very informational for her. As far as reporting purposes, and I would like to send her again this year. And I would like you guys to pay for it. My budget for the election trainings is running slim. And we still have this big summer conference to go to, which there's so much interest in proposal 2 that they've
designated just one full day just for the Bureau of Elections only. So that's a big one, and we'll both be in attendance for that.
Excuse me, Steph, but
Yeah.
has Congress or the state Congress passed that law that with all the final steps for the voting that they were?
Everything's passed, it's just the legislature hasn't completed. They keep sending out more and more and more when they finally come up with what's complete. But like a whole plan in place, like unfortunately, it's not gonna probably be 83 counties in the state of Michigan all running the same exact way. So we're small. And our clerks aren't full-time clerks. They have full-time jobs. And so, you know, bigger cities, that is their job. But we'll find out a lot at the conference. I'm having a meeting August 7th with all of the local clerks. Another county has shared interlocal agreements on how we'll proceed with Prop 2, and you know, I can't picture any one of them because a lot of them do have jobs going, oh, no, I want to be there 9 days in a row running my own election. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna work with the county. The only problem with that is it will overlap one of your commissioners' meetings, and this is the biggest room that we have for 2 tabulators and easy access for me to roll them into a locked secured vault. So I'm asking to use this room, and that would be your first meeting in November, because we are having an election. So I don't know if you move it to night, if you move it to a different date, if you cancel, like, whatever, I'm just a heads up.
What hours are you gonna
I was
need
gonna
it?
say,
It's gonna be daytime hours, it'll be what normal, but it's gotta be 8 hours a day. 8 hours a day. So if we make them from our business hours of 8:30 to 4:30 and just keep the same hours on the weekends, they'll just be the same hours familiar for 9 days straight. But we're gonna meet with all the clerks and throw, you know, get the ideas out there. They have a lot of questions. I haven't talked to some of them. They don't even know that this is an option to have the county run it. I will just be the coordinator.
So
The clerks will still administer their workers. They'll still administer on their day.
would then everybody would come here and vote, or would the township
the-
still have a 1 day?
So it's 9 days of early voting, and then that Monday, there's nothing. And then Tuesday is your regular election
And they
day,
would
they'll
have
be
their-
back at their precinct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it'd be available here.
So they wouldn't have to be here, just you.
Right, that or have one central as possible location. Well, we're a small county, and the only place I can think of is either EMS or Mankato, I don't know. And I don't know what do they have locked closets? I'm not with the stuff.
BCR in Barton City is
I-
the most central.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So good.
So, I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate that people that are far out will have to drive in, but you know, each night those bags get locked in my vault or in the judge's
Security
chambers.
purposes, it's the best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there, you know, and not off-site. I feel like I'd be running there every day anyways, so.
Is there gonna be a cost to that for us and wages and time? And
Yeah, because I'm gonna purchase a new tabulator.
so who, the state gonna pay for that? The tabulator, the state pays for it.
They'll reimburse for certain things, to up to certain amounts. So, but like right now, before the November election, the secure drop boxes have to be in place. And those are fully reimbursable through the state. So there are some costs, but
They're not
the
gonna pay
bad
us.
part is that these townships have to upfront this money. Well, I think I just found on the spillable form on their website, if they fill it out on the website, they don't order it outside of the Bureau of Elections, the state pays for it right there up front. If they go out on their own, so that's kind of also what I want to meet with them about and discuss that, because they have to have video surveillance on them 24 hours a day, and they don't have to be, it doesn't have to be internet, they can be like the motion activated trail cameras or whatever, and they also are gonna have to purchase new scanners, because the Secretary of State's doing something new with barcodes or whatnot on the driver's licenses, so. So was that a yes, then you guys paid for Trina to go to this MERS conference?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Any other discussion? How much is it?
I think it was just over $500.
We have that in our line. I don't have a budget for them.
505.
We have 505 in our line,
No, the conference is 505.
professional services. Do we have that? Related?
And what was that line item number? 101. Which professional services? Do you have it in your contingency?
Yeah, I don't know, there's a couple of them there. We're gonna have to make a budget amendment for that one too. Or move some money around,
You can move some money around.
okay,
You have, little bit left in your. You have quite a bit left in your contingency that you could move to cover those expenses.
well, Katrina has been a real help, I forgot to mention that we had met with the. Police union last week, was it, Rick? Yeah. And not with her, but certainly I've been able to talk to her about some questions on retirements and benefits, and she's very knowledgeable on it, so. But, so it's moved and supported, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Roll call,
Oh, roll
money,
call, it's money.
okay. Johnston,
Yes.
Yax,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
thank you.
Anything else?
No, I talked long enough.
Communications? Don't see any. Committee reports? That must be the resolution was supposed to go under communications. Committee reports, Derek?
Just attended 2 times, so some. No, and attended well. We're getting, trying to find a location for a mental health, station down here in the county. And maybe we can get and they'll look into it.
They want to be attached to like senior.
Could be. Okay. I think that would be a nice location. And we'll.
Right.
Other personnel,
Yeah, good practice.
been busy and fun.
Dave? Yeah, don't-
Yeah, there's a couple of township meetings this week. Major. I was at a Northern Michigan Association of Counties meeting in Roscommon Monday. The hot topic again was septic tank legislation. Where we did, we have a motion to oppose the septic tank legislation as written. There's some of the other commissioners that feel we need a statewide septic tank code. We're the only ones in the country that don't have. So that was, and they went over some of the opioid distributions. Building department has finished up the boiler project. Chimney project that they were doing, that's all been taken down. And they're probably 90% with their fire alarm system. They have a couple issues they're working with. And I think a broadband update, there isn't been much. As of late, it's ongoing working. It's not gonna happen overnight, but they're working towards it.
I think district health is also meeting next Monday. Yeah, here, I believe.
It's not the 18th of this month.
Oh, they can. I missed the last meeting, so.
Yeah. District health, yeah, there's no meeting. Oh. So,
Okay, got it, Dave, or? Okay. That it?
is it?
Carol, do you have any?
Then the executive board meeting for 211, our biggest one was we needed to modify our budget. we don't have quite the volume that we had back during the pandemic, and so we're tweaking that a little bit. ACCOA is clearing their land, they will be breaking ground. I don't have a date, but it's relatively soon. Walgreens, the settlement for opioids with Walgreens will provide approximately $62,000 for Alcona. The FSP emergency shelter program, $2,700. It is going to end up going into the food pantry. United Way applied for it. And they were the only ones that applied for any part of it. And so it will be going in through the for purpose of food pantry in the county. 911 board meetings have been moved by a week, and so that was a week ago yesterday. MIDC is being audited. I like actually their wording. It was just delightful. I can't. But it really was quite. It was like, oh, we are reaching out to notify you that Alcona County has been selected for participation in MIDC's financial status report compliance review program. It wasn't it? I said that. But we are not concerned. It's for the year 2021. It is primarily going to be looking at have we paid the attorneys what we're supposed to? Are they getting their continuing ed hours? Those types of things. Worked with Cabot's office and with Laura licensing and confirmed Harvey was concerned about his license, and we got it straightened out completely. He's back, I think, fairly comfortable. And last night we had a Decatur Township's board meeting, and that was about all.
Busy. Other than personnel, I would speak a little bit of the broadband and with what Dave was talking. So there's some grants that the monies are becoming available. They're not there yet. So as those grant applications go out, we'll see perhaps some of the providers that we are courting begin to make some moves in our county, but it's a 5-year program, 5-year plan for these. I think that's what it is in the BEAD grant. It'll be 5 years before it's completed. 3 to 5. Yeah. So I'm hoping it'll be sooner than that, but it takes time. Veterans, Pat, were you at the meeting yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I missed it, so I think it's tough.
Trouble.
I'm in big trouble. So I'll give a little background if you got anything to add to it. So as part of our phase 2, I don't know if I brought it up at that meeting because it wasn't public yet, but one of the groundwater samples indicated PFAS. So they got all in the dither, and now they're going to be checking all around Lincoln. It's not necessarily, doesn't affect our property because we're going deep with a well, double cased, and we've already met all those parameters. But anything else other than that, what you say, Pat? That's pretty much the gist of it. It's a non-issue for our property. Could be, if it's in the water in Lincoln. I don't know. Some of them wells are a lot shallower, those residential wells. So there might be some issues, and they'll address them with that. I don't have anything else. Still waiting on the DEA for that piece of property. Hoping it gets here soon and we can start putting that to bed. What else for me? Where you go? Still out there? Public comment. Public comment. Comment?
His papers are still there.
Oh, yeah. I'll give it a benefit. Maybe. Yes,
While we're waiting.
yes.
Marty Sarah
Yeah.
Hayes Township, just a couple things. I went to a community meeting in Iasco County and spoke about the opioid issues that we're handling here in Alcona County and how we're interacting with Iosco County. Many of those residents were very surprised that their county was not doing all the work that we're doing, so kudos to you for that, and I enjoy being part of that and spreading the word of what we're doing here. Secondly, I'd like to talk about broadband. Hopefully, in a 3 to 5 year program for our small county, I hope it doesn't take that long. I hope people are out there pushing for us because we desperately need it. And the last thing I'd like to talk about is being a retired human resource person myself, director of human resources. I'd like to say that it's never easy replacing employees when you're talking long-term money and new information that comes out. Obviously, there's a spread of time when the people that are leading us in the equalization department did many more things than what their job description said. Sorry to see them go. Also, I'd like to say that the clerk's department, being on the board of canvassers, I've enjoyed working with them, and especially Stephanie, if I might add that she is very thorough and forward thinking, and I applaud that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Mr. Summers.
I'll give up. Trace members, equalization directors for 2 more days. Like I said before, 27 years, I feel kind of a little bit slapped in the face. You know, because I had an equalization director call me and say, I won't say names, but say they were asking questions, and he's like, why didn't they just ask you? I don't know. I told him, so I'm getting calls of that. So it's a slap in my face after 17 years of being the director. And I mean, I've done what I can in equalization. I've had classes with Shyla. Shyla's great. She is an instructor. I don't know why you didn't go to Iosco, because that's where I'm going. Because they went through the same process. Why didn't you ask them what was their process? I don't have a
I did
clue.
do that.
You
I
did?
talked with Jay.
Well, what better person to inform you on finances or anything that's only 45 minutes away to inform you, not 3 hours away to come up and then charge. But like I said, I have 2 days and I'm gonna let it just go and just say I'm a little bit disappointed in how I've been treated. I mean, to hear that from other directors when I'm right there. I mean, some of you have come to me and I appreciate that. None of the rest have not. I mean, and to be there that long, this is not, in my opinion. And last but not least,